morning everyone and welcome to Wine with Dominique. So guys, basically like Wine with Dominique has been very much like an undefined thing. So I thought Wine with Dominique should just be a series where I do everything and anything while drinking wine. So for this one, I thought the best thing we can do is do a Q&A because everyone wanted one, and I thought what's better than answering questions while slightly tipsy. So let's begin with a glass of wine. If you're not having wine, you can have tea, coffee, no, not coffee, depends when you're watching that. Hot chocolate, orange juice, or maybe a freshly squeezed orange juice, a smoothie, or maybe like a G&T. Oh yeah, and before we start with the questions, let's start with the most basic question, which is a very important question, but it's a very simple question at the same time. Are you happy? A good question. I mean, I don't know, you know, I think I'm as happy as I could be at the moment. I don't know if that's a good answer, but yeah, happiness is like a very complicated concept for me, and it's really hard for me to define what happy means. And I don't know, I'm one of those people that, you know, when I'm too happy, I find things to bring me down because I feel like, oh my god, I'm happy, something must be wrong. I think I'm just more kind to myself. I learned how to, you know, be a bit more appreciative of like me and not torturing myself, because I used to have those tendencies to, you know, just like emotionally torture myself for like the smallest things, and I kind of learned not to do that and do things at my own pace and stop comparing myself to other people. I don't want to say I'm happy, but I don't want to say I'm unhappy. Is there like something in between, you know? Okay, question number 2. I kind of always mention that, so I get why you're asking. Do you no longer work at the place you worked at before lockdown? If no, then why? So yeah, I haven't been working full-time since October, and there's not really much to explain. I think, you know, jobs are like relationships. You can fall out of love in a sense, and basically this is what happened. I just became unhappy, you know, I was doing things that I just didn't want to do, you know. I just felt that this is not where I want my career to go, and I decided that, you know, I need to focus on myself. I need to take a break. I need to breathe. I need to get some holidays. So, you know, that was mainly why. And it was super hard because I got so attached to the job and to the people and to everything that it was really challenging to make that decision. But at the same time, it was definitely for the better, because now I kind of feel like I have my whole life ahead of me and, you know, my whole career ahead of me, and I just feel a bit more like excited about life going forward. Okay guys, next question. Have you ever considered moving from England to another country? If so, what country? And there was a similar question, would I consider moving out of London? So yeah, definitely. To be honest, I never really wanted to come to London, which is the funniest part. Like, I always wanted to go to the States. I always wanted to go like far, far away. It was, you know, that was always like in my heart. But then I came to London and I stayed here, and I always say that I actually don't want to stay here, and I still keep on staying and like circulating around the city because of a job or a potential job or something, you know, there are always excuses. Before COVID happened, the idea was to do a year in Australia because it's really easy to get a visa there for like a full year, and then, you know, obviously you can figure something out if you want to stay. So that was like our number one idea. But then, you know, like COVID happened, and, you know, everything with my job got a bit more serious. So I was like, okay, I can't do it now. But otherwise, I always wanted to, you know, try living in LA for a while, just because of the sun. And to be honest, the most realistic option that I now started thinking about is Paris. I feel it's like close enough to London, but then I'm gonna be in the EU, and it's gonna be easier to see like my parents and to travel with Brittany. And I'm quite familiar with Paris. I spent a lot of like my teenage years doing very stupid and, you know, crazy things around there. So I know it quite well, and I thought it would be a good kind of place for me to live for a while. And, you know, I have family there, I have friends there, so I feel that would be a good option, especially since everyone's moving out of London now. So a funny question to follow up, do you ever see yourself moving back to Poland? And the answer is like, I don't know. I mean, now I had to kind of think about it because obviously Kuba moved back, and I was like, oh my god, should I go back with him? Should I stay here? And I was really, really close to being like, yes, I'm coming back because I don't want to be without him. But then I started thinking about how many opportunities like London has given me, and being here is constantly like giving me. It's like I just can't give it up for now. And I don't want to criticize the country or the culture, but I feel there's a lot to improve. And one of the biggest reasons why I moved out of Poland is the fact that I was so sick of dealing with criticism. And you know, people who just like are totally negative about everything. And you know, and then I moved here and I suddenly realized like, oh my god, like a society where people don't criticize each other and don't throw totally nasty negative comments at each other is entirely possible, and people live and function here without offending each other constantly. So, and you know, I'm not saying everyone is like that. Like, this is something that runs in our culture, and I think I'm the kind of person that I think some things are best left unsaid, and some people just like don't have that limit. And that's what I don't understand. But maybe one day, you know, maybe things will change. And I think, you know, the thing is like Poland is great. There's so many good things about it, but I just don't see myself there. So yeah, sorry. In short, the answer is like, I don't think so. Next question, how's the disco doing? Any new plans? So for those that don't know, the disco is my magazine that I released 2 years ago now, something like that. So it's doing well, but the thing is obviously because of the lockdown, you know, Corona, we cannot really do much with it, and at the same time it's quite expensive to actually produce it, so that's why I'm not really starting issue 3, because I really want to focus my efforts on something else. And you know, the disco was never meant to be a business, and I'm kind of at the stage that I need to do things for money, so that's why the disco is kind of on the side for now. But you know, maybe after everything loosens up, that's maybe when we'll start doing, you know, issue 3. We kind of had great ideas for it, but you know, we just have to see what happens. Okay, a very pleasant one now. Where do you find house inspo? Mainly Pinterest. I love Pinterest, like Pinterest. And apart from Pinterest, I think it's mainly Instagram. Like I follow a lot of people who have cool interiors. I follow like a lot of hashtags on Instagram, so it mainly comes from that. And some things are just like entirely in my head, but basically what I love in interiors, it's like a very weird combination. I love hints of like 70s and 60s furniture. I love mid-century, but at the same time I love kind of a bit of like a futuristic 70s style, you know, all those kind of sofas and stuff. I also love a bit of kind of this like bohemian cozy feel, because I think it nicely evens out and makes a home a home. Okay, next question. What are your goals, dreams right now? Oh, that's a nice one actually. To be honest, I don't know. I don't really have like a very specific dream or goal. I mean, definitely number 1, you know, is to be reunited with Cuba. That would be really nice. And then, I mean, definitely one of my goals like for this year is to become like super independent financially and super comfortable with that also. I think, you know, in a sense that I don't have to worry about things. And I guess what I mean by being like super comfortable financially and independent is that I really don't want to worry about my rent. I really don't want to like worry looking at my bank account. You know, I want to be able to buy myself something nice and not worry about that or feel guilty about that. I want to go and do groceries without looking all the time at the prices and, you know, and putting stuff back because I'm like, oh, do I really need this chocolate? Like, no. And a goal slash dream is to really like advance, I guess, in my career, whatever that is. I don't know what it is, to be honest, but I either want to find like a really amazing job that will make me want to work full-time, or if not a job, I would really want to have, you know, all of my other things kind of move forward to another level. Or maybe start a new thing, you know, who knows? I always wanted to, you know, do my own thing. And I have a couple of business ideas in a sense, but I was just never confident enough to do them. So maybe that's, you know, one of my goals slash dreams for this year. Okay, so this is a long question, but I thought it's a really interesting one. So I just like, you know, added it in. How do you know that some clothes belong together and some just don't? Is it possible to develop a sense of fashion, or is it something you just have in you? I'm really inspired by the way you match clothes together and by your style overall, so is there any advice you could offer to the ones that want to develop their own sense? So that's interesting because I feel like my sense of style is always like developing. It's never like there, you know, it always like evolves. But to answer, okay, the first question, how do you know that some clothes belong together and some just don't? It's like a little thing in my brain telling me like, oh, no, that doesn't look good, and then like, yeah, this looks better. But the thing is, it's not that I pick like things off the hanger and I'm like, okay, those two will work and they work perfectly. It's rarely like that. usually what I do when I plan my outfits, I take out like one pair of trousers and I try it with like 10 different tops. And and this is how I kind of, figure out what I like, what I don't like, and what suits me and what doesn't suit me. And of course, partially it kind of comes naturally, but I think partially for me it also comes from the sole fact that I spend so much time around clothes and trying them on and trying different things. And that's why I kind of now have, a better feeling of like what works for me and what doesn't work for me and how to match my clothes. But the thing is, I still look on Instagram at other girls and I'm like, oh my god, like her sense of style is amazing. And I can never replicate that, and I will never be able to, because that's the great thing about, your own sense of style, that it's yours and no one can steal it from you. So the best advice I can offer is to really try things out. Just try everything out, even if it's something that you really don't like or you really don't see yourself in. So that's definitely something I always do and still do, so. Okay, that's a funny one. Do you see yourself without a partner in the future, or are you dependent on Kumba? Oh my. I don't think I'm dependent on him, but the thing is, we're like an old married couple. Like it's hard to explain because our friends will totally understand what we mean by the old married couple. And it's not that I'm dependent on him, it's just like, he's my best friend. He's like my soulmate, he fills the void in my life. And probably if not for him, I wouldn't even be dating, because like, I'm just not bothered, I've been always very independent, and even when I was younger, I always thought that I'm just gonna be a spinster with a cat. So, the fact that Kuba appeared was just like a total surprise. Yeah, so I don't even know what to say, because unless Kuba decides to be like, bye, yeah. But let's put it into perspective. If Kuba wasn't in the picture, I probably wouldn't be interested in a relationship. Just because I don't believe there's a lot of good men out there. Probably if not for my unmarried husband, then I wouldn't see myself with anyone. Okay guys, and I think that's it for today. I actually really enjoyed it. It was quite fun to talk to someone, even if it's a camera. But I know that in like a day or two, like you will be there replying to this. So that kind of, it's a nice feeling in a sense. I'm a very weird and unusual person, but But yeah, I hope you enjoy this different version of a Q&A, and I guess I'll see you soon in a new video. So, bye-bye! Yes, Brittany, everyone needs to see how beautiful you are. That's why you need to be in front of the camera all the time. We all know you have the most beautiful butt. What is this position, Brittany? Oh my lord. Can we please get up? Come, let's have dinner. Let's have dinner.